Welcome back to another UCL Fantasy video ahead of Matchday 5. This will be the team selection where I discuss how I did in Matchday 4 and what I'm looking to do with my 2 free transfers heading into Matchday 5. There are best limitless and wildcard team videos out already on the channel, and tomorrow on the Tuesday from 3:30 PM UK time, I'll be streaming with a deadline stream talking about everything you need to know with all the latest injury updates and building upon what I discuss in today's video for the team selection. If you haven't been enjoying it, smash the like button, subscribe for new, and also share this video around with those that love FPL and UCL Fantasy. On screen you can see the UCL Fantasy League. There is a league code on the left hand side, and you can also see a link in the description below. But without further ado, let's jump straight into this video. Ever since that very disappointing Limitless back in Matchday 2, I've made terrific progress. I had a very poor start to the season. I was around 300,000 after Matchday 2, I believe, and I went up to 87,000 in Matchday 3, and now up to 28,000 after a very solid Matchday 4. I made quite a lot of changes on the wildcard in the last minute because of the team leaks that we got, and we saw that Haaland and Foden were starting, so I brought both of them into my team. I previously had Doku and Alvarez, and that was a game-changing decision, and also it could really impact how I finish at the end of this Champions League campaign. I got 88 points. I'm now close to 300 points overall. I captained Haaland on the first day, so I didn't need to go to Kane on the second day. And my other forward, Morata, also did extremely well with a brace and also an 11-pointer. He also got an assist, but because of the rules in UCL Fantasy, it wasn't really counted towards his points, which was a shame. Bryce Mendes missed a penalty. I think the Wednesday was very disappointing because on the Tuesday, I was already on 70 points and I was expecting to reach the 100-point mark, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. Musiala came off injured around 30-40 minutes. Then you got Calhanoglu being subbed off around 60 minutes. Phil Foden did very well, of course. I brought him in and he scored against Young Boys. Di Lorenzo, very disappointing there, but Saliba was also a game changer and one of the only highlights of the Wednesday matches alongside Harry Kane, and Saliba delivered 8 points with the ball recoveries and also the clean sheet against Sevilla, while Rico Lewis got a 9-pointer on the Tuesday with the assist and the clean sheet, and he has been very good in UCL Fantasy. He's starting most games, and I think he could also get the nod in match days 5 and 6. Both of my goalkeepers were extremely disappointing, and Jan Sommer has been very frustrating for me because when I've owned him, he's been quite useless, but when I don't have him, he's getting the clean sheets there for Inter Milan. And as for those on my bench, Zaire Emery is now out, and it looks like he's going to be unavailable until January. And then you've got David Raum facing Manchester City, and Joao Cancelo with yet another disappointing return, and Barcelona haven't been quite at it in the Champions League in the last 2 match days, but I am expecting them to bounce back against Porto and Antwerp to round off the group stages. So overall, a very solid week. I was disappointed from the Wednesday matches, but Harry Kane and Saliba still delivered. The Manchester City players also were the game changers for me, and one of the main reasons why I did extremely well. And we can't forget Morata and also that forward line. Every single one of those strikers delivering double-digit returns and braces. So I'm extremely happy with that front line. The midfield was a bit underwhelming, and also my bench players, those like Zaire Emery, those injury doubts like Musiala, they are major concerns heading into Matchday 5. I'll be discussing my transfer plans very soon. But first off, let's talk about my lineup without using any transfers for Matchday 5 and the problems I have surfacing throughout my team. At the moment, I have 3 injury doubts in Ter Stegen, Zaire Emery and Musiala. It looks like the Frenchman Zaire Emery will be out for the rest of the year. Musiala might not be available for Matchday 5. He is back in training, but there is no need for Tuchel to risk him with Bayern Munich already securing qualification and top spot. And as for Ter Stegen, Barcelona will be desperate to have him back because his replacement Iñaki, whilst he did an okay job against Rayo Vallecano, it's not the same as having Ter Stegen between the sticks, and Barcelona lost over the weekend in that game against Rayo Vallecano 1-0, so they're going to be looking to play their strongest team according to some reliable sources in Spain, and that could include Ter Stegen, but at the moment it doesn't look that likely that Ter Stegen will be available, or at least we don't have any good news surrounding that. But let's wait and see if there are more positive updates by tomorrow in the deadline stream. But ultimately, even if Ter Stegen is ruled out, my main priorities will be in the outfield players. I'd be quite happy to just play Ramiro and see if Real Sociedad can keep a clean sheet against Salzburg. They did in the previous fixture back in Matchday 2. But overall, my team looks pretty solid, and if it wasn't for the injury doubts, I think I'd be in a very good position in Matchday 5, and the only concern would be the rotation in Matchday 6, which is inevitable no matter what you do, whether you play the wildcard or limitless in Matchday 6, or whether you do what I did, wildcarded around Matchday 3 or 4, and then see what happens basically. But my team is still looking pretty good overall. I'm happy with Saliba, Rico Lewis, Cancelo. David Raum isn't ideal in matchday 5, but I do like him for matchday 6. The same goes for Di Lorenzo. My midfield also, unfortunately, it disappointed back in matchday 4, and I've got 2 injury doubts there in Musiala and Zaire Emery, who is officially ruled out. Phil Foden and all these Man City players, the biggest concern with them is rotation regardless, because Manchester City will be looking to claim top spot against Leipzig with a win there. Then they'll most likely rotate a lot in matchday 6, but you just never know with Pep Guardiola, and no one is safe. I would expect Haaland to start, but Foden and Rico Lewis, let's wait and see if they get the nod. Harry Kane and Morata, I would expect both of them to start, and the same goes for the rest of my players on the bench like Calhanoglu and Bryce Mendes, but Calhanoglu could be subbed off early yet again, and Bryce Mendes has been a bit cold in terms of goals and assists in La Liga and also in his recent Champions League game where he got a 1-pointer in a 3-1 win against Benfica after he missed that penalty. But let's now head over to the transfer plans and talk about the captaincy for the Tuesday and Wednesday matches. I've got 2 sets of transfer plans for matchday 5, and it's going to be in the same positions, the midfield and defence. I'm pretty happy to just keep ter Stegen even if he's ruled out, and Zaire Emery will most likely remain in my team, and I'll just bench him in matchdays 5, and also when we get to matchday 6, I can maybe have an opportunity to sell him and bolster my 50-man squad to deal with the rotation that happens there. But I could sell Musiala to Saka, and in order to fund that move, it would require downgrading Di Lorenzo to Munoz, and I'd still have 0.1 million in the bank. But down in the comment section below, I would encourage you to leave your thoughts. Do you prefer what you see on screen right now, or the second set of transfer plans, which would be Bellingham instead of Saka coming in for Musiala, and I would keep Di Lorenzo and sell David Raum instead to Kim Min-jae, who faces Copenhagen at home. I can always bring David Raum back in for matchday 6, and the same goes for Di Lorenzo, regardless of which defender I sell. But if Musiala is still a doubt to start against Copenhagen, I will most likely be selling him to either Bellingham or Saka. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below in terms of the best transfer plans. I'll be keeping Zaire Emery either way, I believe, and the same goes for ter Stegen, even if he does miss out. And the rest of my squad looks pretty decent, and a lot will depend on Manchester City and whether Pep Guardiola will be quite favourable, as he has been with me, in terms of the lineups and also all of my UCL Fantasy players starting, or if he's going to bench all of them, as he can do on the odd occasion. So it just comes down to whether I go for Bellingham or Saka in the midfield to replace Musiala, and I'll be keeping an eye out on future updates regarding Musiala's fitness. If he's available, then my transfer plans will change, and I will most likely look to sell either Zaire Emery or ter Stegen in that situation. And of course, it depends on any updates we get surrounding ter Stegen, and of course the other move would come down to either selling Raum or Di Lorenzo, and it would be for Kim Min-jae or Munoz there. And in terms of the captaincy, I'll keep it very simple. Haaland on the Tuesday and Kane on the Wednesday. Bellingham or Saka, depending on who I bring in, would be the alternative captaincy choice on the Wednesday. But I'm quite settled on captaining Haaland on the Tuesday. He scored 5 goals the last time he played against Leipzig. And this video has been quite short in general. My voice is completely gone. Hopefully I do recover it by the time we get to the deadline stream, because that's going to be extremely busy. As usual, I'll be going through hundreds, if not thousands of questions and comments, trying to cover everything you need to know for the UCL Fantasy deadline in matchday 5. So we'll be streaming from 3:30 p.m. UK time all the way until kickoff for the first set of matches on the Tuesday. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, then be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. Let's try to get this video to over 200 likes. Let's keep on pushing towards 22,000 subscribers and beyond. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and check all the links in the description below for the Patreon, Championships Discord server, and the UCL Fantasy League. All of that is there. I wish you all the best luck for matchday 5 and the rest of the season, and I'll see you next time.